This game is an absolute masterclass in clinical endgame technique that will change the way you look at pawn structures forever. We have Rose Atwell, the Titan rated 2760, going head-to-head with the brilliant Divya Deshmukh. Deshmukh finds a level of precision here that is frankly terrifying. This isn't just a game. It is a blueprint on how to grind down an elite grandmaster until they have absolutely nowhere left to hide. If you want to understand how to turn a tiny positional nuance into a crushing, unavoidable checkmate, then you need to pay close attention to every single move in this video. The French defense exchange variation, often dubbed the drawish line, but look at the tension being built here. White plays e4 and then immediately swaps on d5. This creates a symmetrical structure, but don't be fooled by the simplicity. This line is incredibly venomous in the hands of someone who understands imbalances. By stripping away the center pawns, the game shifts from a tactical slugfest into a game of maneuvering. The challenge now for both players is to create weaknesses in an otherwise balanced board. Whoever manages their minor pieces better in the absence of central tension will take home the point. This is a fascinating tactical sequence. White shoves the d-pawn to d5, immediately challenging the knight on c6. This is aggressive. It's forcing black to respond to the threat, while simultaneously opening lines for the bishop on a4. Notice the geometry. The bishop on a4 is staring down that queen's diagonal. Black is forced to commit to a6 to poke the bishop. This is exactly the kind of tension that ruins players at the club level because it forces you to calculate precise lines just to survive the opening 10 moves. White is trying to prove that the space advantage is worth more than the structural compromise. The capture on c6 is an engine-approved sequence that simplifies the chaos. White is betting that the resulting structure will be easier to navigate. By capturing the knight, White is forcing black to clarify the position. But look at black's compensation. That pawn on c6 is a nuisance, but it's also a future target. The game has now entered a phase where every single tempo matters. White has clearly decided that a clean, defined structure is preferable to the messy, tactical nightmare that would have resulted if the knight remained active on c6. It's a pragmatic choice, but is it the most ambitious one? Queen takes a4. White grabs the pawn, but look at the board state. The queen side is becoming a vacuum of activity. The queen is now centralized, but she's also a target. Divya sees this immediately. By placing the bishop on d5, she puts immense pressure on the center. White's pieces are starting to feel a little bit disconnected. Whenever your queen is the only active piece, you have to be careful that your minor pieces aren't left behind. White has the material advantage for the moment, but watch how black uses that central bishop to coordinate a suffocating grip on the entire board. The queen trade. When you are struggling to coordinate, a queen trade can feel like a breath of fresh air, but be careful what you wish for. By trading queens here, Rose Atwell is entering an endgame where black's piece activity is objectively superior. The knight on d5 is the star of the show. It's the classic good knight versus bad bishop scenario emerging right before our eyes. The trade is a strategic surrender of initiative. White hopes for a draw, but black is playing for the win. In an endgame, the queen trade is often the turning point where the better positional player starts to feast. The recapture on f3 creates a permanently damaged pawn structure for white. The g-file is open, but look at those doubled f pawns. They are essentially static, vulnerable targets. In high-level chess, these structural defects are like wounds. Black will poke at them, and white will be forced to defend them for the rest of the game. That knight on d5 is now perfectly placed to monitor these weaknesses. White is essentially fighting with one hand tied behind their back, because every move now must account for the safety of these weak pawns. It's a positional death sentence. Rook e4 is an attempt to hold the line, but it's a desperate one. Black's rook on e6 is just so much more effective at controlling the board. It's pinning down White's activity. Rose is trying to force a rook trade to lighten the load, but by doing so, she's actually walking right into a king and pawn endgame that is losing. Sometimes, trying to trade pieces to reach a drawn endgame is exactly how you lose a position that was otherwise holdable. You have to understand when to hold the tension and when to bail out. This was a critical miscalculation. The transition into the king and pawn endgame is complete, and if you look at the board, you can see the writing on the wall. Black's king is active, central, and ready to harass the white king side. White's king is restricted. This is the king activity principle in action. In an endgame without major pieces, the king is your most important attacker. Divya has masterfully brought her king into the fray, while Rose's king is stuck babysitting those weak pawns. This is the difference between a master of the endgame and an amateur, knowing exactly when the king needs to step up and lead the charge. A tactical thrust on the queen side. White is trying to create a passed pawn to distract black, but look at black's response. The knight sacrifice, or rather, the knight relocation, to the queen side is beautiful. By jumping into b5 and then c4, black creates a c-pawn monster. This c-pawn is now a nightmare for white. The knight is acting as a blockade and a battery, supporting that c-pawn's march toward promotion. This is pure, ruthless calculation. Rose is finding herself in a zugzwang situation where every move only makes the position worse. Bishop takes f4. White takes the pawn, trying to keep the game alive. But look at the board. c3. That pawn is now a knife to the throat. It doesn't matter that white has the bishop. The pawn is faster than the piece. This is the classic struggle of the minor piece against the advanced passer. The pawn is being supported by the king and the knight. It's an unstoppable force. Rose is desperately trying to maneuver the bishop to cover the promotion square, but the geometry just doesn't work in her favor. It's truly a beautiful finish to a perfectly played endgame. And with this move, it's over. White realizes the knight and king duo is simply too much to handle. The pressure on the promotion square, the coordination of the black pieces, and the sheer inevitability of the c-pawn marching home. It's a clinical victory for Divya Deshmukh. She displayed a level of patience and calculation that is the hallmark of a world-class player. No unnecessary risks, no blunders, just pure, relentless pressure. A masterclass in grinding out a win from an equal position. Make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to Chess 64 Elite Academy right now for more elite chess content.